Thank you guys for this hearing this evening. I've been hearing a lot of conversations from a lot of different people. Largely what people are saying is not representative of the whole community. So it seems that it is left upon me to speak for the vast majority of the community, which is we need these criminals locked up. People are here saying, oh no, don't lock the criminals up. Well, then where are the repercussions? If there are no repercussions, then people are going to continue the same actions. And do you know what that leads to? That leads to organized crime. Why does it lead to organized crime? Because if nobody is being punished, if there are no repercussions, that means anybody can do whatever they want. That means that somebody will step up to become the leader of all of these individual and independent criminal organizations that we are starting to see pop their heads up. It far surpassed regular crime quite some time ago. It's become criminal terrorism, frankly. People are scared to go outside of their houses. They're scared to go to work. We've seen how many schools, you work at school, Mary, how many teachers do you know have had their windows busted out of their vehicles? So this is something that is becoming more and more commonplace. We're seeing home invasions. We're seeing people getting shot and stabbed on the street by mistake. And these are by people that are known by the police, that the police can't hold because of the state laws. I've come here multiple times and I've requested very humbly and directly that you guys advocate to the state assembly and to the state senate that they amend bail reform and raise the age laws, because they are making us less safe in our communities. I live in a high crime community, okay? Most of the people in here do not. And that is a very serious rebuke for a lot of the voices that you are getting. You're getting people that are on one side in one silo. That is not representative of the whole of our city or even the vast majority of the people. People are so fed up. You guys read the comments online. The mayor did the thing with the dog stuff, and he turned off the comments because he knew he was going to get dragged, because this is a campaign year. Here we are in a public safety hearing. I come to almost every single city council meeting talking about public safety, giving different solutions. Almost everybody here has not talked about actual public safety. They've talked about preventative measures of preventing people from getting into crime and stuff like that. I want to talk about the actual public safety, people being able to go outside and not be threatened by criminals. And I saw this myself, getting an old lady beat up and mugged at the bus stop. Okay, who's doing anything about that? And this is an issue that we have. One of your powers is advocacy. You guys like to get on the TV, you like to get online, you like to toot your own horn. That's fine. Everybody does it, right? That's a normal thing. We're humans. But if you're going to do that, please, these laws are bad for our community. And I'll say this and I'll try to tie it all in and tie it all up. People are here talking about a number and a multitude of things. They're talking about immigration and how the people have immigration issues and we should focus on that. We've got people talking about, oh, the school and education and stuff like that. What about the victims? Isn't this victim week? Like, who's talking about the victims? Where are the victims getting served? I'm gonna tell you this very brief story. Some years ago, right where she was saying that on Chilai, that her son was killed. I had a business open at the same time her son got killed over there. Okay, I had a business right there. And I had a business there. And I had a very serious incident with some people there, okay? Which turned into a big situation because they wanted some stuff that wasn't theirs. And I wasn't about to let nobody have nothing that wasn't theirs. Okay? Because that's very serious and that's not what's about to happen. So anyway, long story short, these people got arrested. And at the end of the day, I got issued, the state said that they owed me X amount of money. This was years ago. Where's my money? Where's my money? Look at everybody's cars that got busted out and cars that have gotten totaled and stolen. The city sued the Hyundai, and where's my money? You understand what I'm saying? The city has one job, which is to provide basic public safety. All of that other stuff is extra. Our government is supposed to provide basic public safety, which means that people should be able to go out of their house and not be under general threat of violence. We deserve safety, and I implore you, advocate to the state level publicly. They need to be shamed. They need to be dragged. And I know people are scared because they're powerful and they're like, oh, well, I might not get my job back, or they might cut my funding for my side program that employs me. Okay. But the fact is, you're supposed to represent us, my community, many communities. I'm a Southwest native, okay? We're struggling. Our people are hurting because of the crime, because of the violence, and nobody's addressing our issues. I do a lot of work in the Northeast in 14621, struggling, hurting, the crime, the drugs, and none of these criminals are getting punished. They keep getting back out, and they keep harming more families and making more victims. We deserve better.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, everyone deserves to feel safe and be safe. And I know Councilmember said that.
I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you for showing up, and everything that you said, these are very serious issues. And one thing that I struggle with balancing is what you stated, repercussion and punishment. So I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Based on that balance.
Mm-hmm.
So given what we know about mass incarceration, given what we know about the degree of racism that exists within the criminal justice system, given what we know that the majority of the city of Rochester is Black, given what we know that Rochester is the 4th poorest in the nation, my question to you is, how do we solve this issue and still maintain a community filled with Black men?
That sounds like the assumption there is that Black people are the ones that are committing all the crime. And to that note, I'd say that if that is the assumption, and that you also tied in poverty with that as well, I'd say as somebody that came up through poverty, through more rats and roaches and stuff like that than I would ever care to talk about again, you know, I'd say that that's not an excuse. Poverty is not an excuse for crime. There are many cities in this country, in this state even, that have much more poverty per capita than our city and have much lower crime.
My question is, what do we do when we begin to see a decline in our Black men? It's not about Black men committing the majority of the crimes. It is about Black men being accused and having harsher punishments than their white counterparts. And so how do we balance all of these complexities in the midst of deep-rooted racism, poverty, an unjust criminal justice system? How do we balance all of those pieces? It is not an easy task.
Thank you for the question. So I disagree with some of your premises there, but I'll say this. So you're talking about addressing the issues inside the legal and justice system, which I am a very strong proponent of. As you guys know, I regularly advocate to the state level about comprehensive prison reform. Okay, I believe very firmly that the prison system is not serving our community. They call them rehabilitation centers or they call them correctional facilities. They do not. And I advocate on both of those notes with solutions continually. You can check out my website. You can check out my Facebook, my YouTube, whatever. I'm on there talking about those issues and the solutions to be able to make these people productive when they come out. We have a serious problem right now where the governor is trying to let out a whole bunch of people from jail, and where are they going to go? They're not going to go next door to Mary. They're coming next door to me. That's a problem for us. That's because they're not being given any of the things that they need to succeed. So yes, that is a very serious problem. I was talking about a separate thing, but I am on board with that, and I do have solutions for that, and I have given those before.
Thank you so much for your testimony, Mr. Williams. I know you have a lot of ideas, but please feel free to email them to us, and we'll also send a follow-up email so you have our contact. And yeah, thank you so much for showing up and consistently showing up.
Yes, and one last thing in closing. You guys, you got to go back from what you did when you advocated to defund the police, because that has made it so very difficult for the police to actually hire. There's been a lot of conversation, and even I try to encourage people from my community to go out and join the police, but nobody wants to join the police because they see how you guys drag them. And that was an extreme detriment. That's why we lost a lot of them, and that's why they're not coming back. We need public safety. We need officers. There was the lovely lady was talking about walking street beats. I've been talking about that for years. I've got other solutions for that, but we can't have that if we're not supporting our law enforcement. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And I always think it's important to clarify, the Rochester police budget has consistently increased year after year, so they have not been defunded in the last 20 years. So we will move to the next person, Mr. Daniel Baclius or Baclius.
You guys did though say that you wanted to
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
get rid of the police and abolish the police. That was what you guys said out your mouths. Why are we acting like that didn't